3 short, 3 long, 3 short. This is S.O.S. It is a universal call for help. A call you make when things have gone wrong, when your current situation is unsalvageable. A call for when people's lives are in danger and death is imminent. Morse code was invented by Samuel Morse because poor communication resulted in the death of his wife. Morse code was an advanced form of reliable communication. It was for anyone in trouble, anyone to communicate across the waves, across anywhere, quickly, succinctly, and directly. So why is it that the 4 divine beasts from Breath of the Wild are broadcasting this code to the entirety of Hyrule? Breath of the Wild is commonly seen as one of the darkest games in the entire series. Hyrule lays in ruins. Monsters, both big and small, roam and terrorize any who dare travel the roads. Guardians with technology centuries ahead of anything dot the landscape, making an attempt to kill anything their malicious sight falls on. You can't even trust someone's honest-to-God call for help without wondering if it's really the Yiga clan deciding to end your life for no reason. Even the moon itself conspires against those who would think the night would bring any form of safety. No one is truly safe. No one. When the divine beasts were discovered, Hyrule believed they had a weapon that could strike at Ganon. But he turned that victory against its champions. All of them. And recorded in these 100-year-old cries for help are the last moments of the champions, which is in and of itself one of the darkest and saddest things I have ever heard from this medium. First is Mipha, the champion of the Zora, a kind and beautiful soul loved by all of her people, and many others. Mipha's fate is a sad one. The Morse code from Varuta is the most pronounced and clear. It comes in at the first second and repeats at even intervals. She needed help. Next, it speeds up. Frantic, panicked, scared, desperate. She needs Link. Of course, Mipha just had to survive. Just until Link arrives. Mipha's overpowered by Water Blight Ganon. It's not good. She holds out, though. I mean, she has to. Or at least she tries to. You can barely even hear the S.O.S. through the rest of the music. It's overpowering. It's too much. Mipha's dead at this point, and now Mipha remains a spirit, trying to hold Ganon back from Varuta. desperately, but to no avail. Mipha's gone. Eventually, Ganon will take full control of Aruta, and Mipha's spirit will be gone. I wonder if her last thoughts were of Link and Sidon. It's sad to think about, but it very well may have been her last thought. Sidon's little smile, Link always standing there. Next is Urbosa. She fought like a warrior and a mother. Disturbingly enough, Urbosa's signal isn't just an SOS signal. There's a clear SAD signal as well, which means seek and destroy. Which means Ganon is actively trying to wrestle full control away from Urbosa's spirit. And he's winning. The slam of the piano serves as a note, a grievous wound or an injury, each one striking harder than the last. The slam of the piano signifies a dramatic end. Urbosa was a graceful warrior, and the clap of her thunder was majestic. But she wasn't as fast as the Thunderblight. The strings. They come in, cutting through the dark, just as Naboris turns back from Gerudo Village. The SOS now louder than the SAD. And the piano persists, but no longer as harsh and violent. More melancholy. But it's strange. I feel hope? A synthetic string is added to the music, but why? Why? Oh. It's Link. A synthetic string, more of a bass, disguised amongst the real strings. Very clever, Nintendo. Just as Link had to disguise himself to enter Gerudo Village, so too does the synthetic bass get added to the rest of the strings. But this is supposed to be Urbosa's last moments. Why are they hopeful? Why do they have this unyielding connection to Gerudo Town? Why? It's because Urbosa was dedicated to her people, the Gerudo. Her last moments were filled with pride and belief that Zelda and Link would save Hyrule and the Gerudo people. Urbosa would suffer anything to save her people. And so she waits, hoping for her people to remain safe, until one Hylian got very brave. Courageous, even. Revali was prideful, boastful, and a raging narcissist. And yet he remained loyal through everything. But bravado alone does not win a battle. It's actually rather funny in a morbid sort of way. The other champions' SOS signals begin almost immediately, but prideful Revali comes in at 16 seconds. And it's no mystery why this time. After all, pride cometh before the fall. And yet maybe it's that proud spirit that is now repressing the SAD signal coming from Vah Meadow. For all his bluster and narcissism and pride, Rivali was a skilled warrior that truly cared for the Rito. Rivali was overwhelmed in his fight, high above it all, in the very sky of Hyrule. A flurry of light and arrows flew through the air. In what was the turn of all things for the next 100 years, Rivali was tagged by Windblight Ganon, and lost what momentum he had, and Ganon trapped him in the sky. Funny, birds are so free in the air. And yet... The S.O.S and SAD signals have faded, and have been replaced with Rivali flatlining. A grim and final insult against Rivali, who was oh so boastful, oh so prideful, and yet his last mark on Hyrule is his own death. And yet it does Ganon no good. Rivali's proud spirit persists, and will continue to until Link arrives, and in good turn, he finally humbles himself to Link. Daruk was the largest of all the champions, not just in his Goron stature, but in heart, hope, and love. But virtue alone could not save Hyrule, and so Daruk also met his end to Calamity Ganon. Daruk's S.O.S is the most erratic out of the four. The S.O.S and the SAD are layered on top of each other, and it's odd. But it's pretty obvious why that is. Daruk is the strongest spirit, after all. Ganon is having one hell of a time trying to have Danya come down the mountain, but Daruk just won't let him. He won't let his people down. And yet, even in death, Daruk loses none of his positivity. You can somehow hear his hope and trust for his people radiating through Rudania. Oddly enough, Daruk's thoughts are also of Link and Yunobo. Synth basses play in the right and left. Yunobo is the inheritor of Daruk's protection, and yet he is very un-Goron-like. He's timid, self-doubting, and quiet. And Link, who requires protection just to simply walk around Death Mountain, both rising to the challenge and readying themselves to bring down the divine beast Rudania. All the while, Daruk cheers them on, his descendant, his friend, his hope for a brighter future never died, and never will. And I'm sat here surprised. Just as a Goron rolls down the mountain, so too does Link march towards putting Ganon in his place and bringing peace back to Hyrule. During this investigation, I came across a question. Who are the divine beasts broadcasting to? And the obvious answer is the Sheikah Slate, and that just makes the cutscene with Link and Zelda all the more heartbreaking. I can only imagine Zelda holding the Sheikah Slate, hearing the S.O.S signals, and realizing her closest friends are all dead, and there was nothing she could do. There was no one she could save. No one. Except maybe Link and Fi. And so, the S.O.S signals repeat for 100 years. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Short, 3 long, 3 short. 3 short, 3 short. short, 3 long, 3 short.
I've been keeping watch over you all this time. I've witnessed your struggles to return to us, as well as your trials in battle. I always thought, no, I always believed that you would find a way to defeat Ganon. I never lost faith in you over these many years. Thank you, Link. The hero of Hyrule. May I ask, do you really remember me?